our very special guest today, Juanita Lolita. Woo! Yay! Yippee!
I am so excited to be here.
I'm so happy you're here with us.
I know. I love it. I love it. And you're so beautiful looking at you. Look at you.
Muy bonita.
I tell you, the things they had to do, it took a long time for this.
It is
like
lovely.
Thank
I
you.
love the curls. I love the laughter. I love the humor. I love the Jesus. So before we get into this, too deep into this, why don't we go to a clip so you can see this wonderful Wonder Woman in action?
How many of y'all like watching them love story channels? You know the ones that I'm talking about, right? My mama and sister love those channels. And y'all, I can't watch them. Every movie I've ever seen is the same movie, right? Even the same actors and actresses. They just change their names in the movie, right? Every movie I've ever seen on one of them channels is this movie right here. A boy and a girl grow up in a small, small town. Now, the boy liked the girl liked the boy. Neither one of them ever told you so that. When they grew up, little girl decided she didn't want to be in that small town anymore. She's going to go out to that big city and get that highfalutin job she always wanted, and she did. But what happened? They decided they're going to send her back to that small town, right? Because she's got to shut that factory down. But lo and behold, who's working at that factory except that little boy she liked, and he had liked her, and they hadn't told each other. But now he's dating the prom queen. Well, her and that prom queen never, ever got along, right? Prom queen thought she was hot snot on a silver platter. Really, she's a dried up booger on a paper plate. But by the end of the movie, right, he decided he don't want to be with that prom queen. He wants to be the girl that came back. And he didn't get a chance to tell her, right? Because just when he was getting ready to spill his heart out to her, her cell phone went off. And she said, "Excuse me," and she ended up leaving the room. Next thing you know, she's on that little itty bitty airplane on that tiny little tarmac getting ready to leave. He comes flying up in his Ford F-150 pickup truck, and he stops that airplane, and she jumps out. And she goes, "Oh, my gracious, what are you doing?" He says, "Baby, I've loved you since the 3rd grade. Here's a ring, flowers, marry me," and they live happily ever after. Right. I know what you're doing. I just saw that one, right? Every single movie. The only thing that changes is occasionally there's a Christmas tree.
That was great. That was great. Okay, so do we need to have a Christmas tree?
I think we should. I think we should.
We should have
a
a Christmas tree.
Okay, so I have to explain to people because I know that they heard me come out and I talk like these in the beginning, and then you listen to that clip and I'm a hillbilly in it. So anyway, it's just because I'm a hillbilly Rican, so I'm half hillbilly and half Puerto Rican.
I
so
love that word.
Like that. Thank you.
Is it in Wikipedia?
It might be. I don't know what that is, but it could be there.
You need to.
You don't know.
You need to trademark it.
I should.
You should.
I should.
You can create it. They'll put it in Wikipedia. Okay, so I love the love stories, and I think.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, you good? Okay, don't vomit.
See, I'm more of a Walking Dead person myself. You know, I like the horror movies.
The zombies.
Stuff. Yeah, because I figure there's more of a chance of that happening than anything I've seen on those channels. So.
Okay, well then you are braver than I am. I was a wimp as a child. I could not watch. If I just heard a commercial with zombie apocalypse music.
You were done?
No, I was done.
Well, see, I like looking at those because it's the only time I feel younger. And I feel I look better.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let's get serious. Okay, just for a minute.
You can't tell a comedian to get serious. I'm just letting you know.
Okay. All right, I'll get serious. Okay. You be you.
Oh, no,
That's how Jesus created you.
Don't tell me to do that.
Let's talk about the love story. So, you know, as women, we grew up with Cinderella and with fairy tales and Sleeping Beauty. And as Christian women, we read the Word and we dream about, you know, having this incredible marriage and the two becoming one and wonderful Prince and Man of God and Psalm 45. And I know that was probably your dream and story. Yeah. And then it kind of took a turn. So
you turned, not just a turn. It's like dead end, cliff ahead. Yeah.
So in the church, there is sometimes a stigma when it comes to divorce, and just feeling like, is that going to change my ministry? Is it going to change my destiny? Is it going to change the way God uses me or the way God sees me? And far too often, I think that women buy into that lie that the enemy whispers in their ear.
Right.
So tell me about your story and how you battled that and how you overcame that.
Well, that's open-ended. So I was in an unequally yoked marriage for 21 years. And for people that don't understand what that is, it just means I believed in the Lord and he did not. And the Bible talks about that, to be in an unequally yoked marriage and how hard that is. So for as long as I was with him, I tried to be that godly woman, the Proverbs 31 woman, and it didn't matter to me if how he acted and how he was. It was my responsibility to be controlled over me, that I should act the way God intended for me to be and to be who I was supposed to be. So in 2020, life came to a screeching halt. Honestly, I think everybody understood that there was a lot going on in 2020. Yeah. So my shows canceled. I was booked solid. My shows canceled. I ended up coming home, and within just a couple of months, my husband walked out on me because my being home interfered with his social life. So there was just a lot going on in a 12-month period of time, and I know a lot of people have gone through a lot. So I'm going to share quickly what happened in 12 months for those of you that know that you've had an issue in 2020. March 13th and 14th, I was scheduled in South Florida, 2020. All of my shows, I was booked solid. March 13th held, March 14th canceled. That's how fast everything came to a screeching halt. Came home, I was home for about 2 weeks. My husband's like, you need to get a job. I said, I have a job. It's just on hold right now because nobody knew what was going to happen.
That's right.
Fast forward 2 months, he ended up walking out. So I had no income, and I had no income from him. A couple days later, I had to have my cat put down because she had a stroke. My sister was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
My granddaughter, who has seizures, was put on anti-seizure medication, which was a horrible thing. One of my horses passed away. I went up to the farm and my horse was gone. My sister died in January, which was the biggest travesty. Another horse died in February, and my other cat had to be put down in March. So in a 12-month period of time.
Wow.
But I know that God's hand is in all of it. I know that my sister is with the Lord and she's dancing on those streets. She's got a mansion up there because she's this incredible woman of God, and she always was. And I just hope that when I get up there, I'm able to do the toilets. That's what I'm hoping for, because I know I don't have a mansion, but as long as I get there, just smelling like smoke maybe, but I'll be there. But God is in control. Yeah. But going through that divorce to me, because I stayed married to be the Christian woman and to do what God commanded. Right. And when he ended up leaving and then finding out biblically that I was okay to divorce him because of how he left, it still worried me. I was worried about, like you were saying, what are people going to think? Because I have a ministry. My ministry is performing in secular comedy clubs to tell them about Christ. That's where he's put me. So I'm thinking, how am I going to minister to people, and how am I going to bring them to the Lord, with what I've been through? Yeah. But the reality is, we've all been through something, several things, several tragic things in our lives. And when God calls us to do something, that's what he's looking for. It's not this perfect Proverbs 31 woman that I wanted to be. I'm more like the woman at the well, So, but God uses that because it's when you you think you have the ability to do this, then God's not getting the glory. Yeah. But it's when you don't feel that you can and you know that you can't. I mean, when everything in you is telling you that you're not able to do this, that is when God is calling you, because he's going to show mighty through you. Yeah. But what I want women to realize, and anybody, is that we are all children of God. Yeah. And when we put down the things because there's so many things I could say about myself that are wrong. But when I do that, I'm insulting God. That's right. And I shouldn't do that.
Fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah, fearful most of the time. I'm working on the wonderfully made. So.